Gary asked about the word Dayenu, and we'll talk about the word Dayenu just to open the discussion for today. The word Dayenu is related strongly to the redemption from Egypt in the very, very obvious sense that the word Dayenu is known to many Jews from the Seder night, to many people who participated in the Seder night. Dayenu, okay, if you're using the Nikud, there might be only one Yud here. Sometimes, if people are not using the Nikud, you would see another Yod here as kind of a reading mother. And Dayenu, okay, morphologically speaking, is composed of the word dai, okay, and the suffix nu, first person common plural, the ending of the word, which indicates our or for us, okay, as in the words anachnu or anu, okay. Anu is mostly post-biblical, okay, but we do have already the beginning of that in Hebrew. We do have, okay, the word dai or day in biblical Hebrew, and even in last week's portion, we not exactly the word dai in its form. So, but things that are enough, okay, and dai means enough, suitable, sufficient, okay. That's the literal meaning of the word dai, okay. Grammatically speaking, the word dai or day, okay, is enough or sufficient. You also might know the word kedei, okay. Kedei is a combination of the preposition kaf with the word day, enough. So as to suffice, okay, hence in order, okay. And some have even connected the word day or dai to the Hebrew Shaddai, one of God's names, okay. The one who said to the world, enough, when creating the world. So Shaddai also. Now that's with the suffix. After having talked about the word dai, the suffix is the first person common plural. So dayenu, it is sufficient for us. Okay. So that's the word dayenu. Dai, sufficiently or enough. Dayenu, enough for us. Okay. And the famous Dayenu in the Seder night really talks about the different kindness or acts of kindness, of chasadim, that God has enacted with us. After each and every one of us, we say, if he would have only done this, it would have been sufficient for us. You should remember, it's a poetic text, so it's not necessarily that each and every line there makes super sense, and the questions are also debated as well. Okay, so one of the lines in that famous poem on the Seder night says, if God would have only brought us next to Mount Sinai without giving us the Torah, it would have been Dayenu. It would have been sufficient for us. People ask, what's so important about coming before Mount Sinai if you're not getting the Torah? Okay, have you ever heard that question, Gary?
No.
No, but you do know that there is a line like that in the poem, right?
Yes.
Yes. So next year, I want you to give me an answer, okay? No, so I'll give you an answer. This poem says it would have been sufficient for us to come before Mount Sinai, even if we wouldn't have gotten the Torah. So first of all, the historical answer would be that this is a poem, this is the structure of the poem. You don't have to be so exact about each line. That's one thing. A second answer, which is very common and very nice, is that the commentators say that when the people came before Mount Sinai, they were all united, because the biblical Hebrew there says, Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged hahar. Israel camped before the mountain. And the verb in Hebrew, Vayichan, is in the singular. So the commentators say the people were united. They were like one when they camped before Sinai. And only then they could accept the Torah, when they were unified. So commentators of the Haggadah say, you know why it would be sufficient to come before Mount Sinai, even if we wouldn't have gotten the Torah, because of that unification, that the people of Israel stood there as one. So that's one of the famous lines of the poem Dayenu, which celebrates the redemption from Egypt. And that's a good segue for our weekly portion, the portion of Va'era and the parasha. And let's start with reading from the parasha. Obviously, the parasha starts with the idea of the name of God being revealed to Moses in a different way than what was related to the forefathers. The parasha talks about God presenting himself to the forefathers by the name of El Shaddai. Again, we made the connection between Dayenu and El Shaddai, and that's the